welcome to another OMG on tour. So we study Jamaica as our case study of tourism to reduce the development gap. But Mexico actually has a very similar story, so I thought I'd do a quick video on it. Mexico is an LIC, it's a fairly rich LIC, so it's on its way to becoming an NEE. But it was most impoverished, or it had a lot of poverty in the 1970s, so GDP per capita was about $700 to $800 per person. There was a lot of unemployment, and they heavily relied on agricultural exports, as well as export of machinery and electrical equipment. So the government decided that they wanted to do something to improve life for people in Mexico and to stop so many people from emigrating to the country to HICs like the United States. So they decided that they were going to build an area for tourism, and after the government explored about 7 different locations, they decided that Cancun, or the state of Quintana Roo, was the best place to introduce tourism. So as a result, Cancun was built, and especially an area called La Zona de Hotelera, which is a massive stretch of hotels, bars, nightclubs. It's full of beautiful white sand beaches, which is why Mexico, if you just have a look behind you, you can see the white sand beaches, the beautiful beaches that Mexico has. And as a result, tourism is now a massive part of the Mexican economy. It brings in about 10% of all GDP. So in terms of the benefits economically, in terms of the opportunities, it brings in lots of jobs, both in formal work, and if you just have a look at the other end of the beach, you can also see some informal workers. So those people were selling cigars and towels and bags to the tourists. But in terms of the economic challenges, a lot of people in Quintana Roo and Mexico are still very poor and unemployed. There's still massive immigration to the United States. Socially, in terms of the opportunities, well, obviously there's the employment. Tourism is absolutely massive, but it gives people a stable income, and that reliable income means that they can invest that in water, electricity and better housing to improve their standard of living, quality of life. In terms of social challenges, so because of the boom in tourism, cartels have kind of exploited the area, so the sale of drugs, for example, to tourists. And then finally environmentally, the money from tourism, there are taxes, eco-taxes, that help to protect species like whale sharks and the 3 types of turtle that are in Mexico, so the green sea turtle, the hawksbill turtle and the loggerhead turtle. But in terms of the environmental challenges, tourism brings a lot of environmental damage. So a lot of damage to coral reefs has happened as a result of tourism, as well as a lot of waste pollution and water pollution. One final last thing, so Mexico as a result has developed massively. Its GDP, as opposed to in the 1970s being about $800 is now about $9,000, a massive improvement in standard of living, and it is almost at the stage where it is an NEE, so they've almost achieved their goal in terms of reducing the development gap through tourism. One last thing, so it can go without saying, if you have a look here, we've got a little bit of a seawall to protect from the destructive waves on the Gulf of Mexico and the Atlantic Ocean, made of local rock, so a bit of sustainable tourism. And just off in the sea, you can see some rock armour and also an offshore breakwater as well. It's a bit like a seawater, but in the middle of the sea. So the social opportunities in terms of that is that it helps tourism and gives the tourists a nice place to swim, including me. But also it's an economic challenge because it is quite expensive. So yeah, that's how tourism has helped Mexico to develop and overcome its economic challenges.